This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I'm here with Mile High Inspection. Since 1993, they have provided thorough property inspections while protecting your dream across Denver and the surrounding areas. I'm joined with Chuck, who is the owner. Chuck, thanks for joining us here today. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. Your background: you were formally educated at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, as well as also Gannon University. You've spent nearly 30 years in this industry. Share with me a little bit how this got started for you.
Well, I lived in California at that time, way back when Rodney King happened. And my wife is from here, her family's here, and it was just scary for her. So we decided to move back. We came back for a vacation. I read an ad in the paper. I said, I can do that. So I went down that morning, Sunday morning. We were leaving that afternoon. Talked to the guy, gave him a check, said I'll be back in a month. So we bought the business. He was doing about, I think, maybe 12 inspections a month. We bought the business, and within 2 months we were doing 30. My wife's a marketer.
That helps, doesn't it? Help
Yes,
somebody
it does,
on that
yeah.
end. Let me ask you this. Buying a home, I mean, it's really the largest investment most people make in their lifetimes. Do you think it's still the American dream to own your own home?
Well, I think it is, but a lot of the younger generations are not moving that way just yet. But eventually they will. When they start to grow a family, they'll want a little more privacy, a little more room, a yard, if you will, a park to go to, whatever. So yeah, I think it's still a good thing for children.
An investment of that size, obviously it comes responsibilities. It's unlike any other purchase that we'll ever make. This purchase will really affect you for years to come, would you say?
Yes, it does, yeah. Mowing the lawn.
More than not, right? We're obviously going to discuss why inspection is a wise move, but when purchasing a home, is a home inspection required? And yet, I understand the FHA recommends you have one. Tell me about that.
It's not required, but a lot of the agents like to have it done, so they push their clients towards it. But today's market's a little different. There's a lot of no inspection clauses in contracts now. So it makes it difficult. It slows my business down a little bit, but I'm trying to promote something that if you don't have it done before you buy, why not have it done afterwards? So you know what you have to do in the near future. That's my direction right now. I don't do much marketing anymore, but I want to keep the business going because my son is working with me, and I'd like to just pass it on if I could.
That is great. Before we discuss the details of the actual inspection, share with us who's going to actually be doing these inspections. Explain maybe what a certified inspector is and why you employ NACHI inspectors.
Well, I have my son who's the NACHI inspector, and I'm an ASHI trained guy from way back when I first started. I went to school up in Seattle with the World Inspection Network. They're a franchisee now. I started out as a licensee, and I dropped that after a year. Figured, why should I pay them a fee when I can do it all myself and keep the money? NACHI, you have to keep certified. You take courses every year, and you
really?
keep. It's like a real estate license. You have to taking courses. So my son's keeping up with it. I go on forums on the internet and follow the ASHI program. But why it's important? You need to know what you're buying.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, the house this age, 1942, still has clay tile sewer lines, and I have tree root invasion. There's a lot of old houses being sold, so you need to know that you should have that done. Furnaces are older, roofing is older. Even though we've had hailstorms, there's still a bunch of old roofs out there. So how are you going to find that out? You're going to climb up there yourself? I doubt it.
I doubt it. Yeah. I mean, a house is a large investment and it covers a large area, so therefore there's many areas within the home that can have issues. Many of these problems are probably not even visible to the naked eye or untrained eye. Is that something that you have found where people thought they had a pretty good home?
Oh yeah, almost every week. We very seldom get a perfect home, even brand new construction. I do new construction work, and I like to do the 1-year warranty work. I don't like to do from the ground up. It's just too time consuming and don't make enough money at that actually.
Yeah.
But the 1-year warranty, it's amazing what you'll find on a brand new house after 1 year. So Yeah, it's important. Older houses, for sure. I mean, foundations, roof structure, vents, just everything you can think of, electrical in particular, in an older house.
There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to a home. I mean, from the foundation to the roof, there's many areas in between. Is there a certain number of check boxes that you go through with a typical house?
Yeah, we start out with the exterior, and then we from the roof. When we get inside, we do the attic, which is part of the roof because it's a structure. We do the landscaping, the outside, the flat work, the driveways, walkways, steps, things like that, porches, for example, patios, decks, everything you think of, windows, doors, locks, latches, appliances on the inside, furnace, water heater, age of and condition of, all those things, so that they know what they're getting. And I like to say I don't hold any punches. I didn't make it, I'm just telling you what it is. You know, that's my job. A lot of older agents didn't like that when I first started out. So I've actually had to not do work for certain agents in the past because they wanted to take over. And I actually let them take over. I said, here's my clipboard. You go ahead and finish this. And they handed it back and says, I'll just sit down. So
that is it. Don't kill the messenger, right?
No.
You're just the one bringing the message. I mean, it's safe to say that a realtor's walkthrough is not sufficient when it comes to revealing issues. What you see from the street is not what an inspector can find by, I imagine, actually getting up on the roof, getting down in the crawl spaces. Is it pretty extensive, and are people kind of surprised when they realize something they couldn't even see?
Yes, they are. Yeah, a lot of people stand out at the street and they go, that looks like a good roof, until you get up there and see the hail damage or the age-related weathering, which almost all the granules are gone. All you see is the gray of the asphalt that's washed off the shingles, you know. That's the granules have washed off, and the asphalt is becoming gray, not black. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I crawl spaces. I get in attics. My son's bigger than I am. It's hard for him to get into some crawl spaces, and it's hard for him to get into some attics, but we take care of the whole thing, inside and out.
That is incredible. I mean, even if I did see an issue, I mean, right there under my nose, not a professional, I don't think I would catch it personally. I mean, somebody who's been trained to see something like this. Are multiple inspectors sometimes required on a single job, and what kind of determines that? Well,
we work as a tag team.
Okay.
I do the outside. He does the roof. He does the attic, unless it's small and I have to do it. Yeah. But we work as a tag team to get the job done quicker.
Yeah.
But we take the client with us if they're there with us. Some of them don't show up because they're out of state, out of town. But we take them with us and we point out all these things, because all the things we find that are negative. Some routine maintenance, you know, we don't minimize, but we tell them, you know, this has to be done every year or every 2 years or whatever it is. So we tend to do a tag team thing, but when they leave, they have knowledge. When they see the report, it's easier to understand. That's the way we work it. And I'll do an inspection by myself if he's on vacation. He does it by himself when I'm on vacation.
But you can get in and out pretty quick when you got two guys attacking the same house. That's pretty cool. Speaking of issues right under my nose, some issues can cause problems down the road. Others can be downright dangerous maybe right now. Share with us radon. Is that something that your team is able to inspect for as well?
We do radon testing. In fact, he's out picking up a meter right now.
How does that work? Is there equipment that's required for that?
Yeah, you can use certain types of, we use electronic meters that are calibrated, and we set them in. It's a 2-day test. Sometimes we have them in there for 3 days or 4 days. Depends on when we set it, and if it's a weekend, we'll leave it over until Monday. But yeah, radon is important. It's a cancer-causing gas. It's the final decay product of uranium decay. It's a little atomic particle that hits your lung and explodes. Leaves a little ping on your lung. If you're a smoker, you know, it increases your chances of lung cancer.
Another area that I've heard of people purchasing a home and then finding out later on that they got a pretty expensive issue is that of a sewer. How are sewers inspected? Is that something you even do, or how are they done?
We have a company that we contract.
Okay.
They come in and do the sewer inspection, and yeah, it is important because a radon system, for example, costs about $1,000 to install. A little bit more now because prices are going up slightly. A sewer can cost you $10,000.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So we're talking about
sometimes you have to crack the basement floor all the way out to the outside of the foundation to replace all that old cast iron that's cracked and rusted and gone through, and now you're leaking into the ground, which the cities don't like too much. They don't like black water going into the ground. So
none of us like surprises, but a $10,000 surprise is definitely not one for sure. I mean, not only are the reports thorough, they're easy to read, but they're delivered quickly, and your services are available really 24/7. Is the user-friendly service end, is that just as important to you, and do you think it's a foundation for success for this many years?
Oh yeah, I do my reports the next morning, or that night, or the next morning. They get the reports within 24 hours. Never fail.
I mean, how many pages is a typical report?
It can be 40 with pictures.
Oh,
and I do narrative. I have some macros, they used to call them. I don't know what they call them today, but I can put a macro in there, but I still have to modify it because no two houses are the same. But I do a narrative on things that I think are really important, and I try to explain, the situation, like it doesn't meet electrical standards, doesn't meet plumbing standards. Here's the reason why. It's a fire-rated wall. You don't want to have any holes in it. Here's the reason why. So I try to be as detailed as possible and make it simple for them to understand. And then I recommend this needs to be looked at by a licensed electrician. You need to have a plumber come in here, or you just need a handyman, to do this routine maintenance or recommended improvement.
At least they know what they got when they get that report in hand. I mean, let's face it, buying a large structure like a house is not like buying any other purchase, like we said. I mean, even a used car dealer, they have inspectors that they come out and check these cars with. I mean, I'd say the affordable cost of an inspection, I mean, just alone, worth a peace of mind. Is that something that you feel with people?
It is peace of mind, and I tell people that. You should have the sewer scope for peace of mind. You don't want to have to spend $10,000 in the next year because your sewer line's back into your basement or even into your bathtub downstairs, and that's happened. It's happened here. I had to have some work done.
Wow. I mean, I know buying a home, it's an emotional experience. I mean, you find one that you love, you almost don't want to know if there's issues. I mean, people want a house so badly, yet that initial love can wear off quickly, and as disheartening it may be, I would imagine it's best to know up front. And does it even help with negotiations possibly when it comes to buying?
Yes, it does, but not as much today. Today they're negotiating contracts on a health and safety only. But people still need to know whether they're going to have to spend $2,500 for a new furnace or $4,500 for a new furnace air conditioning system. They should know that up front. That's why it's important to have the inspection done. Even though you can't ask for those things,
okay,
you can at least know where you are and if you can afford to buy that house.
For a good reason, like you say, even after you've purchased the home, within that first year, get an inspection done. At least you have a forecast of maybe what's coming down the road.
Yeah, maybe you can budget.
Yep, budget and take a proactive approach as well. We said before, you have really over a quarter of a century that you have been protecting the American dream. Be it new construction or old, residential, commercial. Does this continue to be rewarding for you, and are you excited to kind of pass that on in the family?
It's still the same for me. I like it. I've always liked it. I like the independence. I used to work in industry. I was general manager, operations manager. I had a high title one time, VP of operations, which was a small company, but that's fine, But the regulations, the rules, the politics of business just drove me crazy.
Okay.
When I bought this, I felt free, and I enjoy it. I still enjoy it today after 20 some odd years. 1993, 29 years.
Pretty amazing. You took a business in its infancy and grew it pretty well, big enough to actually hand on to your son. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. First of all, on the website, you can learn all the different areas they're able to help you with, be it roof, exterior, structural, electric, HVAC, interior, plumbing, attic. They're pretty much going to cover all those areas for you. We're talking about a report that is delivered to you nice and promptly. It's easy to read, and really at the end of the day, we're talking about peace of mind. Knowing what you basically are purchasing, knowing what maybe is coming down the road you can budget for, and it's not a surprise for you. Once again, that is Mile High Inspection since 1993, providing thorough property inspections while protecting your dream across Denver and the surrounding areas. This is Gary Atencia with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.